I was talking to a friend the other day who's just got out of medical school, spending 7 years studying, and they're trying to become a brain surgeon. The salary is £150,000 a year, around $200,000. And they're working all that time, studying all of that time, just to earn the same amount as 15-year-olds are making right now. I mean, a 15-year-old with a computer and an internet connection are literally earning the same amount as a brain surgeon, somebody who's highly qualified for saving other people's lives. And instead you have this 15-year-old running an automated agency, a software company, a dropshipping store, and they're earning the same amount or more, but they're allowed to travel the world, they're able to have as much time freedom as they want, and it just amazes me because of this. Almost all of those 15-year-olds run some kind of online business because simply it just wouldn't be possible to earn that amount without having to spend years in a degree to get the amount of money in and then start your own business in a professional field. But doesn't a dropshipping store take thousands to start? And it's dead, it's oversaturated, it's too competitive, the business doesn't work. And these are the types of things I hear about both agencies, dropshipping, and basically any other business. Well, none of these are true. Of course, there's some level of difficulty, and that's the reason why business people make good money and others don't. But it's gonna be exactly the same no matter what industry you're in. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in both dropshipping and running my own online agency. And this isn't to brag at all, this isn't to shove it in your face, but just so you know that I'm qualified to talk about this kind of topic. I'm not just talking out my mouth from no past experience, but in the last 5 years, I've been actively doing these things, and I still acquire e-commerce businesses now, and I'm very active in the part of the management business. I also run an e-commerce management agency where we manage e-commerce businesses on behalf of our clients. So I know how both businesses work, I'm active in both businesses, and I still do it today. I've even been documenting all of this in the last 2 years with my first social media marketing video around 2 years ago when I launched the agency, which I'm still running today. I'm gonna break down to you the 6 main comparisons so you can pick the best business model for you, whether it is an agency or a dropshipping business. Because quite truthfully, if I had a video like this before, it would have saved me a ton of time, a ton of pressure, and they're both not fit for the same kind of person. First of all is the starting effort. What's actually easiest to start and get going? Well, the first initial stage of getting your website set up, getting clients on board, having people onboarded, I'd probably say as an agency. You don't really need a website. You can start outreaching literally from day one and seeing what clients are coming back with. And if you're posting out content at the same time, you can easily build up some kind of miniature personal brand with 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram and reach out directly from there. And you'll be able to get inbound leads, document part of your journey on YouTube, and you'll be able to attract quite a few clients in. Now that same video 2 years ago, which I just showed you, was able to generate me, I think 3 or 4 clients just from that one video. And at the time they saw who I was. I was a 15-year-old kid who just started an online business, but they still wanted to work with me because they saw that video. Now that's all about creating a personal connection between yourself and your customer. With dropshipping, it's a little bit different. You need to make sure you really perfect the store. Your store and your product is so key, and they both have to be excellent. On top of that, you need to make sure you're marketing it in the right way. Other than an agency where your only goal is to get people on, and once you've got them, then you can start fulfilling their service. With a dropshipping store, you need to make sure your product is on point, you have your marketing angles all clearly laid out, and only from there can you start driving traffic to your store. Now for that first bit, I would say an agency clearly wins between the two businesses because it's much easier to go ahead and start. It requires zero capital. You don't need to know anything about building a website, design. Even though Shopify is no code, you still need to learn how to put together a decent website, and for that, an agency wins. Now, which business is more saturated? Now, both are extremely popular business models. However, dropshipping is commonly misunderstood. Dropshipping is not the business model at all. You're completely wrong if you think that. Dropshipping is just the method of fulfillment, and it's the first stepping stone. I'll explain it a little bit later on in the video what the stepping stone is for starting an agency and the long-term goal it should be if you're starting up a business, because you can easily scale it into a $100 million company if done correctly. And that's the exact path I'm on right now to get to that amount. Dropshipping is when you get the product directly from your supplier and you ship it directly to your customer. You never touch the product at all, and that's dropshipping for you. It's not the whole sales channel, the flow, everything there. So you should be branding the product, moving it into a 3PL, eventually getting your own warehouses, and that's where you're gonna get a large exit valuation. If you're just selling the dropshipping store, it's one of the lowest priced businesses if you're gonna go ahead and sell. Which is great because people like myself who have been in this space for a while can buy these businesses, change them into proper brands, and then sell them onwards. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But compared to an agency where you can easily go down a path automating your agency further, either from the very beginning or taking your agency right now and automating it further, and then bringing it into a software company, scaling the software with your current customers, using affiliates to grow that further, and then eventually selling that software company for 50, 60, $100 million, like many other people have. If you look in the last 5 years, most of the companies being sold over $100 million online are software companies. So if you want to get an exit like that in the short term, and I mean short term by in the next 3 to 5 years, you should be looking at starting some kind of agency. But it does come with its downsides. And that's the scalability of the business model itself. Dropshipping, you see, once you have the formula of having a really great website, having great ads, which I'm using at the moment is AI creators, so you don't need to wait for UGC back and forth. That's through a company called Make UGC. It's actually my company, which I've been building for the last 12 months. You're able to scale that very quickly because you have this winning formula in place. You're able to put that into paid ads like Google and Facebook and even TikTok and Pinterest now and really scale that hard. Recently, I started a free community for my software customers, and we had one guy literally 45 days ago. He went from $0 and now he's doing $9,000 a day. That's updated as of yesterday, so I have no clue what he's doing now, but probably much more, with $3,000 in profit. Now, you just simply can't get that with an agency unless your personal brand explodes, which in the most part is not going to happen to a lot of you. As far as growing, you're never going to grow faster than a dropshipping brand once you've got off the ground. Now, with an agency, once you've launched and have a few customers on board, it's very easy to build it into a 6, a 7, a 8, or even a 9-figure business, like many people have done. Now, you've probably heard of SaaS companies before, software as a service. Technically, all a software company is an agency which is fulfilled automated. So there's actually 2 ways of going about this. One is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars building out your own custom software, is making sure everybody is happy in the whole platform itself, getting top developers on board like we have. And look, it's a great business play at the end of the day because you're able to build a thing called IP as intellectual property, and you're eventually able to sell that with your business as an asset later down the road. But the main problem with this is if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to spend an awful lot of money putting everything in place just to figure out it's not going to work. So instead, you can hijack these softwares. People have spent hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, or even more than that to go ahead and build. And then go ahead and sell that software as if it was your own. Now, this same approach happens in e-commerce all the time with dropshipping stores. They white label other people's products which have been developed and people spend hundreds of thousands building out themselves until they figure out it's working for themselves, and then they can build something similar. So as an agency, you can pick a service, and let's take, for example, UGC videos. Now, you see, traditionally with UGC videos, you would have to find the UGC creator, influencer, pull them together, get them to create a video, wait 5 days back, and then from there, deliver it to your client. Now, if any one of those stages fell apart, the influencer was ill, the pooling didn't work, they made the wrong script, you then would be delayed multiple days back and forth. And that's not your fault, but it represents you badly. So instead, you can now automate this process to look a little bit like this. You go to a software platform that has AI UGC creators, you get the UGC creators on board, you create a script for the UGC creators, you deliver the service itself, and that's all done in a 24-hour period. That means your client is happy, you're able to make more money, and you're still able to charge the same, if not a little bit less, and keep everybody eating on the table. And then from there, you can build out a software product from your current customers who will pay you for a similar tool, such as an ad spy tool, or maybe a script generator. So then they can use that same product for that software. Virtually in those 3 steps, you've built up a business that could be worth $1 million, 10 million, 100 million, as long as you have enough customers on board. Because at a 5 or 10x multiple, you're in a significantly higher range of selling your business. And you simply can't get any of that with a dropshipping business. Now, that really comes on to the next point, is maintenance and growing a decent team around a business. Now, an agency is something that's pretty easy to understand. You have 2 parts of your business. You have your getting your clients in and maintaining your clients. Those are the 2 main parts that you need to focus on. Once you have a steady stream to get clients in through referrals, which you're able to build up quite quickly, as long as that service is well provided and is done in a timely manner, which is why I suggest running an automated agency rather than a normal one. And I explained that whole business model on another video, which I'll link in the top of the description. But maintaining those clients just needs to mean lots of customer support, making sure your clients are happy, delivering the service on time, and just what I said before there. While as dropshipping, you need to constantly be testing new ad creatives, improving bits on your store, making sure your competitors don't copy you, and lots of other bits in between just to maintain where you're currently at. That means if you want to grow, you have to go on top and launch new products, find out new variations, add subscriptions and upsells, and then you're building more and more. And in the wider picture, if we go back to the exit, you're just not going to be getting the same numbers as you would with an online agency. So in that part, the maintenance, the day-to-day operations of the business model itself is nowhere near as good as running a digital agency. That is, unless you run an organic dropshipping store. And one of my first successful products was an organic dropshipping store. I was able to get 10 million views on my first video, selling these silicone slushy cups, where you simply just put them in the freezer, poured any beverage you liked, squeezed it a few times, and it turned into instant slushy. This product sold itself. I got in very, very early. Nobody had ever seen it in the last 10 years. It was a revamped version of this older product. Now you're able to get very high margins here, but it is inconsistent at the same time. On the other hand, I ran a UGC content business for 2 years, matching up influencers and brands together as an agency approach. All I had to do was get one VA to reach out to multiple influencers, have a decent script, and it's actually pretty surprising when you think who you can actually reach when sending the right message across. We were able to get some really big names at the time and put together a yacht party event in Miami, sponsored by a very famous energy drink company that I can't name because we signed a non-disclosure. But because of all of this, I really see what's currently working right now. And truthfully, I think there's no better business than to start an online agency. It may not be the fastest to grow right away, but it's a business for the long term. And you're able to scale this and adapt this very, very quickly. You're going to have a much closer interaction with your customers, meaning that you can sell them other things and you can boost them onwards. And when you look further down the road, you can easily scale this into a software company, an automated agency, if you're not already starting that way, which is what I would suggest anyway. So if you take them both combined at face value, where the true value is on exit, it has to be the agency. Now there's tons of information online about starting both businesses, but if you need any help at all, just send me a follow on Instagram and a quick message about your current situation. I'll be happy to help back and forth. There's no fee, there's no charge, but you can just let me know. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.